Hello. Happy Friday.
I thought you were going to sing Happy Birthday then.
Happy
Friday too.
I hate the song Happy Birthday. I think it is the most whiny song ever. They need to remix it or something.
There we go. There's a life goal. Just write a new Happy Birthday song and make everyone know it.
You can sing it.
Okay.
We haven't been with you since before the summer holidays.
Yeah. No.
Because, well, one reason, we have children. Ugh.
Yeah.
And secondly, life threw a curveball.
Yes, life threw a little curveball.
Little?
A pretty giant curveball. Yeah.
And so we're finally back. And Katie has some news to share. And we're going to discuss.
We are. We're going to discuss around the edges without going too deep. So if you followed my page, Hear Yourself Think, I shared my first Substack post the other day about the fact that I am getting divorced. So this is new and incredibly painful. And so if anybody out there is going through a similar experience, know that I understand how horrible it is. And yeah.
So yeah.
That was right at the beginning of the summer holidays. I mean,
It
there's
was.
never a good time. Weirdly, it was actually, it ended up being a good time because I could just sort of hunker down with the kids and not have to do school runs and be too public.
And you'd both planned to have the whole summer off anyway.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So we had lots of time to process and many conversations about it. So, yeah, that's my news. Total curveball has, mutual, agreed, but has completely turned everything upside down for the whole family, really. So kids are doing okay, which is good.
Which is always your main priority.
Oh gosh, absolutely. I mean, it makes you think an awful lot, makes you reflect about your own life. And I was thinking about some issues my parents had in their relationship and how they handled it, which I don't think was the right way to do it. We really painstakingly planned how we were going to tell the children. And it was, I'll be honest, one of the worst conversations of my entire life. I never want to have to do anything like that again. I'm sure there will be times, but it was horrible. It was because they could see something was up.
How kids know.
They do. So yeah, so talk about a curveball. Work kind of stopped over the summer as I could try to get my head together. But we're 2 months down the line now from the initial conversation, and it's feeling a bit more. Well, I think I'm just going day to day, really.
Day to day is a good piece of advice for when life throws you a curveball. Because we spend our whole lives trying to plan. And you're probably in that phase now where all of your plans for the future have just gone out the window.
Well, there's so many I can't actually make. I can't even make them yet because plan A hangs on plan B, which hangs on plan C, which is and nothing is sorted. So I can't. I just don't know. So you literally only have one day to the next right now. So.
And isn't that really the goal, though, to live in the moment and not be too much in the future? Because I often find that my stress and worry comes from my thoughts about things that haven't even happened yet.
Yeah. Yes, catastrophizing. Me and my sister talk about it. We are chief catastrophizing officers in our families. Like, oh my God, that's going to happen, then that's going to happen, and how am I going to cope? Yeah, and there's been a lot of that. Don't get me wrong, I have done a lot of that. But, you can't sustain that level of anxiety. Well, you could, but it would become life-affecting. So, what are your choices? I've got to look after the children. I've got to get out of bed every day. I've got to work. I've got to live. So I can't be in that place. It's not healthy. So I guess that's a silver lining from a really crappy event, I suppose.
You've mentioned other silver linings as well, and for the life of me now I can't remember what they were, but I know we've had these conversations.
That's all right, I don't expect you to remember the details of my silver linings.
But I mean, I know that you can't make plans, but what do you know for sure that you want? Regardless of how you get to that point, what do you now know that you want your life to look like? Do you have an idea?
That's a really good question and a really big question. But that's the point of me launching the Substack, is to help me figure it out. Because I think a lot of people, I think women tend to do this. I think also mums and parents, we tend to put ourselves behind everything else. You know, got to get the kids ready, got to do this, got to, you know, we're lower down the list. So for the first time, as much as my children are a priority, absolutely, I also have to think, what do I want? Just for me, for nobody else. There's no one else to think about. What do I want?
Is this the first time in your life that you've had the opportunity to think like that?
I think it possibly is, because not counting when we first got together, when my husband and I first met. That was, you know, all on my terms. We got together and made plans. But it was a window, because I think I was at uni. I came home, didn't really know what to do with myself, got a job, and then I met him very soon after that. And then we were together. So there was a very small window. Before that, you know, going to university, you could say, is a choice, but I think I sort of fell onto the treadmill that lots of people do.
Yeah, and that's young life, you know, and nobody really knows what they want when they're young.
No idea.
But I mean, you were together 21 years. So in 21 years, this is now the first time you have the opportunity to think about a picture that's just Katie. And what does that look like? And I'm not saying that you have to know.
No, I don't.
But we have talked about houses.
Yeah.
And actually you have a vision of what you would really like. And, you know, and we don't know how you get in there yet and all of that. But sometimes I think it's nice to almost have that kind of vision board moment of, well, I want to aspire to something.
Yeah.
And this is something I really want.
Yeah.
And so why don't you talk about that?
Yeah. Well, yes. No, I have thought about it. I genuinely don't know how I'm going to get there. I've got ideas, but again, not ready yet.
Don't worry about the journey.
But this is me. I'm like, how am I going to do it? I can't get there without a plan. Yeah, just a little place that's just mine. I couldn't manage a big house, just me. The plan is that we'll share the children, and so it'd have to be big enough for me to be with them. But I could just see myself somewhere that's all mine, and it's bittersweet, you know. It's bittersweet. I've always loved interior design. I've always loved, you know, houses. You put me on Rightmove, and I won't come off. In fact, I probably should replace Facebook with Rightmove.
Probably is
be a bit more useful. Yeah, I love it. I just love scrolling, looking at houses. So I have got that plan in mind, and that does keep coming up to me as a positive thing to focus on at a difficult time.
I remember from when I separated from my ex after a long-term relationship, and we had a house together and had to sell, and, you know, we didn't have kids, we had dogs, but not kids. There was a period of time where, you know, I had to live in a house share and sofa surf and things, but there came a point where I bought my own house on my own, my money, my salary, and it was all mine. And it was that kind of little Victorian terrace cottage that you kind of talked about as well. And there was a massive shift in my self-worth at that moment.
That's very true. I think I've not done that. So I've, you know, rented, I've bought with my husband. I've not done it on my own. It's a terrifying prospect, right? But there's also really exciting because it would just be me.
It was like the biggest effing pat on the back I've ever given myself.
Good for you.
It was like a real moment of, I can do this by myself.
Yeah, I can knock that wall down if I want to.
This is mine. I don't have to consult about the colours I want to paint it. I don't have to worry what time I come home or what time I leave, or it's mine. And I can do entirely what I want. It was wonderful. And there are moments where I do miss living by myself, not because I don't want to live with my husband and children, just because there was something so beautiful in that.
In your own space.
That was all mine. And it was all on me. And yes, that one side of that could be a bit scary, but the other side of that is so like, wow.
Yeah, this is true, because it is all on your terms. And I mean, it's funny because I think about my business, and my business is about helping predominantly women think about what they want next so they can move forward in their life on their own terms. My goodness, I am actually living it now, you know, more than I even was before. So
do you think that's a universally delivered thing?
What, this kind of idea of doing that?
Well, this, you know, I want to help women to do this. Oh, and then the universe is like, well, you're going to have to go through that.
Well, yes, I think you might be right. Yeah. Walk the walk, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. It all feels very weirdly aligned through no choice, no conscious choice of my own. Yeah, I think so. I think it's... Which is another weird silver lining of this whole process. You know, it's incredibly painful. And I didn't want it to happen. But seeing as we're here, you know, let's make the best of it. Which is, I think, the coach, right? You know, a coach should find a positive way forward. Hope is the currency of a coach. Let's
hope is the currency of a coach. Quote Katie Delaney.
I think that's true, though. You know, you've got to have hope. And I think in my darkest moments through this process so far, the hope has gone, and I've just got, I don't see any way forward, you know, but I feel hopeful again, that there is a way, in many ways.
The thing when I'm in dark moments and you can't see the wood for the trees, you know, whatever the saying is, I always think, I have to remind myself, everything is temporary. Everything. The whole existence is temporary.
It is.
And obviously, you know, you survived 100% of your days so far.
Yes,
so,
I love that phrase. Yeah, you've literally got through absolutely everything so far. It's true. It's true. And actually, you know, I've already used that in my coaching with people. Frankly, everything. The fact we're sitting in this building, drinking coffee out of this cup, we've created all of this. This is...
Created our own brown grit.
Yeah, brown grit with...
Powdered milk.
Powdered milk.
Oh, yeah. Pushing the boat out here.
But yeah, no, you know, the only reality is that the sun will rise and fall for a period of time, many more millions of years. That's the only thing that we can actually predict. Everything else, you know, we have no control. We've created everything else. So we can create something different. You know? It's true. It takes courage, I think. And talking and connection. Connection is something I found really interesting as part of this process. You've been amazing. One of my besties. Luke has been absolutely amazing. Lovely soul, getting me through all this. And other people as well, in my inner circle. Those people, because when the rug is pulled out from under you in some way, you know, whether it's a death or a divorce or whatever it might be, you need to re-anchor yourself. That's what I've discovered. You're like, oh, I've lost the thing that I was secure with. Now, obviously, the ideal is that you become self-anchored, you know, but we're also social beings.
Oh, yeah,
right?
no, like, we can't just go, oh, I'm self-anchored now.
Yeah, I'm fine, I need nobody.
Yeah,
no, it's not.
That's a whole healthy dose of denial, right there.
Yeah, well, but what I mean is that you should have you're not sort of externalising your self-worth, and I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but there's got to be these temporary measures. Yeah. You need them. It's transitional.
But also you just need, people need people. And I think I've, you know, not fully acknowledged that. So that's a good thing to come out of this. I'm very grateful for my friendships. Very, very grateful.
I think in times like this, your circle changes. The people that you think are going to be there aren't always, and the people that you don't expect come forward. And I've certainly noticed that from when I've had curveball moments in my life, like when I had my accident and broke all my bones and, you know, was pulling my hair out along with the rest of us in the family. The people that I thought were going to come to support me didn't really show up. But then totally random people did. Yeah. Like a grandmother from the school run who then picked my daughter up from the back gate every day and took her to school for me and lent me her mobility scooter when I was able so that I could...
So she had empathy because she'd experienced something that was similar. Do you think that's it?
Maybe. I just think she was just really damn kind.
Oh.
You know, and I would never, if you were to, and we had to do this in the adoption process actually, you kind of do this family graph of all of your close people and they literally ask you who's going to be there for you in times of crisis. And when we looked at that graph versus what was happening, I was like, none of these people are here.
Oh, gosh.
But you know, but then other people that you just don't expect step up.
They do.
I think it's really beautiful.
It is a beautiful thing, you know, and that is something definitely to cherish. And I've learned that lesson through this. You know, even I can see it in my husband as well. There are things he's doing now that possibly he wouldn't have done. People he's speaking to. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, you know. It's weird and unpleasant how it's happened, but ultimately a good thing.
Just both of you are stepping into a massive new phase of life.
Yeah.
Literally, you've had one half of your life this way, and now you've got the child. It's almost like a rebirth.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. It is a rebirth. It's starting again. Because it's just in every single way where I'm living, who I'm socialising with, how I spend my time. Even what I do for a living is currently like, because you're going to need to get a mortgage. So, oh my goodness, I don't know what's going to happen there. Obviously, I want to carry on doing what I'm doing as far as possible, but then reality check.
I'm just going to win the lottery and buy you a house. Is that right?
Oh, thanks. Let's do it. Just get a big one. I'll have one wing.
Yeah.
You have the other.
That'd be nice. Kids would love it.
Kids, they would love that. We wouldn't need to do anything. They'd just play together.
Yeah.
We could drink brown grit.
We could get a live-in nanny.
Oh my goodness. Fantasy.
Let's get that on a vision board, quick.
There we go. Put a nanny on a vision board. Put Mary Poppins on a vision board. You need to see Mary Poppins
I
first.
still haven't watched it. But even last week when I was having a financial wobble, a big financial wobble, last week or the week before, I can't remember. Yeah. Again, people completely unexpected came forward. And again, just like there are so many beautiful souls in this world that just completely selflessly want to give and help and support. I've got another really silly example actually. Do you remember when COVID happened?
Yeah.
And I was just about to open my second studio, 21st of March 2020. I was opening. That was the week we went into the first lockdown. You couldn't get toilet paper for love nor money, right?
Yes.
And I was like, oh my god, I cannot open a yoga studio with no toilet paper.
First world problems.
And then someone that I went to school with, I probably hadn't seen for like 15 years, messaged me. I was like, Luke, I've got you some toilet paper in Sainsbury's. Do you want it?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, how beautiful.
How lovely is that? How lovely
It's
is
literally out of the blue.
Isn't it weird? Because COVID is another example of a curveball, right? We all lived through that. We all had to endure that one. And there were some beautiful things that happened as a result of that. I mean, it was horrific. Whatever your opinions about all of it, it was horrendous. But people came together in really surprising ways. And that's lovely. That's really lovely. Sharing stuff, sharing resources, I think we started also to value simple things like, my 40th birthday, I really wanted some grand spa weekend or something. No, it was a picnic. I had a picnic.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
But it was lovely. I had my friends, the sun was shining because the weather was amazing that year. Yeah, it just does make you appreciate things differently. Once you get over the initial, of whatever the curveball is, I think you can... It's your attitude, isn't it, really?
Attitude of gratitude?
Attitude of gratitude. Yeah. Firmly planted in reality, of course, because like you just said, you can't go bypassing all of your shit. You have to deal with it. Jeff Brown talks about this a lot, doesn't he? Grounded spirituality. I like that idea of, there's no way around, you can't forget it, ignore it, you have to go through it.
Yeah, Ray and I did a video live a while back saying that it was all about, gosh, come on Luke, my brain's just stopped functioning. Toxic spirituality. Where we talked about, is a lot of the stuff that's out there about avoiding.
It is. Possibly. What was your conclusion from that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
But you're right, and Jeff Brown's right. Grounded spirituality.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing. It's a whole real thing.
Real, which is a big theme for you and I, isn't it?
Yeah.
Being real. It's true. I mean, I've always struggled with some of the sort of more, I guess, Eastern philosophies when you get into the nitty gritty, there's a lot of, oh, well, just, you know, let your mind push it away. Watch the negative thought float away as a cloud. I'm like, well,
turmeric will fix it.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, you can do that in a moment of crisis, I think, when you're feeling completely overwhelmed. But there comes a point you just can't avoid.
You have to deal with things,
anymore. You have to, as painful as it is.
Yeah, well, a lot of the spiritual community now are banging on about shadow work, which to me makes a lot of sense.
That's very Carl Jung. Do you know Carl Jung? He's I'm a fangirl. So it's very much, yeah. But the idea of shadow work, isn't it, is to bring out the darkness, but not necessarily to banish it or work through it, is embrace it and accept the bits of it. And
I think the reason why, I guess if I use the term trending, the reason why it's popular at the moment, or trending at the moment, is because I think so many people have been doing the spiritual journey, but have been practicing avoidance in that journey, and now they've gone, oh yes, I need to deal with some things.
Yeah, you can't avoid it.
And then so suddenly now shadow work's popular, right?
Yeah, it's everywhere, and it's but it you know, you can't avoid forever. I always remember years ago doing a counselling course, like a basics of counselling course, and my teacher said something about, I'm going to get this wrong, I have to ask Ray if this is how you talk about it, but it's something called transference, I think that's what she called it, which the idea is if you don't get it out, whatever the negative emotion is in one way, it will express itself in another, which is like banging kitchen cupboards when you're having a passive-aggressive argument with somebody. That's the same emotion. It's got to come out, yeah. It's got to come out somewhere. You can't just bottle it up, because then you'll become physically unwell. You'll become sick, you know. So.
I have views, and you know that song by The Script that says, when the heart breaks, it don't break even? My experience of ending relationship, and I've seen this as well in other relationships that have ended, is that one person breaks up, does the work, you know, wallows in their own misery for a good year or so, or at least. And then on the other side of that, the other person doesn't deal with anything and just moves straight on. And that's been my experience of watching relationships happen. And I think that's a great example of, I'm not saying that it is or isn't, but is one avoidance, and is one actually leaning into that shadow stuff and dealing with it.
Time will tell, I suppose, in those examples.
Yeah, but I mean, if I can talk about my ex, because I don't mind slacking him off. I saw him, I spent the time, and I saw him move on within 3 weeks very quickly, and that relationship was incredibly destructive and resulted in a lot of violence, actually. And so, and then my understanding is that that's continuing into further relationships since then, from gossip that I've heard. But, you know, so I'm a firm believer in, you have to sit and deal with it and process the stuff and feel the things. And if you need some temporary measures, crack on, you know, use some temporary measures. But without being too preachy, I just think that it's a long game. You have to play the long game.
It is a long game. I think, you know, that's what we're trying to do. And, you know, I don't want to go into the weeds of what's going on with
I know.
With us. But yeah, absolutely. I think there is a risk in any relationship if it ends, if you don't deal with some of the circumstances that may have contributed to that, you know, then you need to, if you don't deal with it, you'll just take them on, won't you? It's like somebody moving house and hoping that the new house will solve everything. It won't necessarily.
You just move the problems with you, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a running away complex as well, I guess, isn't it?
I think it's very easy to do.
I've seen so many people run away, and sometimes I'm like, I'd love to run away.
Yeah, I know.
I don't fix
Tell me
anything.
about it. Well, I sort of did it in my work. You know, I left my employed job, thinking, I just can't be here anymore. And then set up a freelance job doing the same thing, and realised I still didn't enjoy it particularly. You know, I think we've all done it in some way. But you're right. That's the goal, isn't it?
Do we run or do we face up? That's the question.
Yeah.
What worked for you?
Yeah. You see people though. I've seen people who've gone from cradle to grave, who've run. You know, who've never faced into their stuff.
Depends on your beliefs, but they'll probably take it to the next life.
Well, yeah, depending on your beliefs,
Yeah.
they probably will. Absolutely. No, I don't know. I'm feeling right now that in this stage of my life, I've done so much analysis. I just want to just stop for a minute.
Stop thinking about stuff.
Well, I'm running a thinking business, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Let's stop thinking. Just going to stop thinking.
Just take this out for a bit.
Yeah, just put it. I have actually sometimes when I've been feeling really overwhelmed, visualise being able to just take my brain out and like put it in a nice little bath, so it could just go. Just stop. Let's give myself a little lobotomy.
A little spa day.
Just for a minute. Yeah, brain spa. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Like The Man with Two Brains. Did you ever see that Steve Martin movie? Okay, it's another movie. It's weird. It's Steve Martin.
I mean, that sounds a little bit like what's that horrific movie where they sew people together?
Oh God!
Sounds something like that.
It's not. I'll show you.
Okay.
We'll watch it.
All right.
After Miracle.
Or Poor Things. Did you watch Poor Things?
No.
It's been recently out in the cinema with Emma Stone.
Oh, I love Emma Stone.
Oh my God, it was the weirdest freaking movie I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, I think I saw her on a chat show talking about it. It's her and I know the guy.
Yeah.
And he creates her? He makes... Yeah, okay.
Kind of.
Sort of. Brings her to life somehow.
No,
Okay,
it's a bit...
I don't know.
I don't want to spoil the plot, but it's odd.
It's odd. Yeah, I think I've seen the trailers for it.
Yeah.
She's awesome though. I love her.
Yeah, incredible. I weirdly saw a thing there's Emma Stone with blonde hair.
Okay.
And like, even though she's the same person, when she dyed her hair red, that's when her career took off.
Oh, really?
And you can kind of see, like, you look at her blonde hair and you think, oh, yeah, pretty girl. Emma Stone with red hair, you're like, oh, she's amazing.
How funny. Maybe it's her energy. She has a red hair energy.
Maybe. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
How about you with your hair? Let's talk about your hair.
Oh, well, it's not here anymore.
No, it's not. Well, it is.
It's fine. It needs to be tidied up and trimmed a bit because, to be honest, the haircut I got wasn't very good.
Okay.
But I don't care what I look like.
Mm.
And it's nice not having it everywhere.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I expect you were very Jesus at one point.
Yeah, like greying Jesus.
Greying Jesus. It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
So there we are.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not as skinny as Jesus either.
Oh, but if you keep this keto up, Luke.
I might be.
Yeah. You've got, Wendy, you've got me rooting for you.
There was a point in my life where I had a 28-inch waist and I wore double extra small shirt size and I was living just off Bourbon biscuits.
Okay. Yeah, that's not healthy.
No, it was delicious.
Really? Do you not just feel woozy or sick?
I was young, you're young, you're indestructible, aren't you?
That's true. Yeah.
I was like in my early 20s.
Was there alcohol as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So you didn't care either. Yeah.
Anyway, that took a weird turn.
I did.
Curveball, right there.
Curveball, exactly. When life throws you a curveball in your conversation.
Have a Bourbon diet.
Yeah,
Or
wonderful.
don't. I don't recommend it.
No, I don't think so.
All right.
We done?
Yes, we are going to go do some brainstorming of business things. And we're going to, Wendy, if you're watching, we're coming to you because we're going to come and sit in your cafe and work.
And eat your keto food. I'm
Eat
really
your keto
excited.
cake.
Yeah.
All right.
then.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.